This conference will now
Hello
be
guys, very
recorded.
good evening for all. I hope you all are well and doing good. So guys, am I audible for all properly? Is also my skin visible for you? Please confirm.
Yes, sir, it's audible.
All right, great. So in the last session, we have discussed about the company creation in Tally software, how we have to create the company and how we can alter the information in the company data, or we can also delete that particular company. I hope this topic are clear for all of you. If you guys have any doubt query from that topic, you can ask. All right, now let's see what we have to do next. So basically we have learned how we have to create the company. So let's create a new company here. Go for the create company option. Type any name. I'm using here QL batch 4 June 20. Okay, I'm using this name just for my convenience. Save it by Control A. And the same thing which I had told you, we have to deactivate the GST option. So make this option no. Press Control A to save. So after learning the company creation part, we have to know how we have to start working with the software. For that, let's take an example here. Let's take a journal entry, which we have passed. Like this one, we have this transaction. Let's suppose paid rent 5,000 in cash. So in this transaction, what are the two accounts are containing here? First is the rent and the second is cash. So in the tally, these are called the ledgers: rent ledger, cash ledger, Mohan ledger, telephone charges ledger, salary ledger, bank account ledger, commission received ledger, wages ledger. Whatever the transaction is, we are what you are debiting or what you are crediting, they are called the ledgers. So to pass any kind of journal entry in the Tally software, before that we have to learn how we have to create these ledgers. But before these ledgers, we also have to know that what this ledger is for. Basically, we know rent is an expense. Okay, rent is an expense. In the expense, it is an indirect expense. But we have to assign this in the Tally software that it's an expense. And how we can do that? It is very simple. This is what for the groups are. To create the groups, basically to create anything like ledger, stock item, groups, we have to click on this create option. If you click on this create option, you will see multiple options are coming like groups, ledgers, currency. voucher types, item group, stock category, stock item, unit, location, and etc. So if you come on this ledgers, this create option, you will find groups, ledgers options. Okay. So if I talk about the groups, guys, basically groups are those in which we assign the ledgers. Like as we have taken an example of rent. Rent, we know it's an expense. So it's an expense. In the expense, expense comes for two types: direct expenses and indirect expenses. In that, the rent is an indirect expense. So we have to assign this ledger under the indirect expense group. So indirect expense is a group in Tally software. Mohan, we are paying to Mohan, so Mohan becomes our creditor. So Mohan is a sundry creditor. So sundry creditor is a group here in the Tally software. Cash comes for asset. In the asset, it is an current asset. So current asset is the group. Just like that, in Tally software, there are total 28 groups which are by default created. If you want to see those groups, what you have to do, you just have to click on this alter option. Click on the alter option. Alter option is basically for to viewing the things, the ledgers and groups as well. Okay. So if you click on this alter, you will find the group option. Simply press enter on it. Then you will have a list of groups which are by default predefined created in this Tally software, like bank accounts, bank overdraft, bank overcast, both are same. Branch and division, capital account, cash in hand, current assets, current liability, deposits, direct expenses, direct income, duties and taxes, indirect expense, indirect incomes, fixed assets, and the other things as well. Okay. So basically in these, all of these groups, we will assign the ledgers which we will create for our journal entries. In a case, suppose if you want to create a new group, you want to assign a new group here, what you have to do, you just have to click on this create option and here click on the group. Okay. In this, we have to fill the group name, then alias. Alias is a short name or a nickname. Then we have to assign the undergroup. So let's say, for example, we are creating outstanding expenses. Outstanding expense. In the alias, you can say O/S/EXP. Just in short, alias is not mandatory, it is optional. Okay, just remember this. Under. In the under, if you come, you can see a list of groups are coming here. So basically, we have to assign here what are the outstanding expenses for. So basically, we all know outstanding expenses are our liability. So from here, we have to select this current liability option. And that's it. Nothing extra we have to do. Just press Ctrl A to save this. Ctrl A and it will get saved. If you want to create any other extra group, you can do. But basically, there is no such a requirement to create the groups because in Tally software, total 28 predefined groups are already available, which will help us enough. To go back, I will use escape button, ESC from the keyboard. If you want to look at that group or if you want to change some information in that, or if you want to delete that group, what you have to do, just click on the alter option, select the group option here and search for that group. Suppose just type the name outstanding. It is coming here, press enter to select. We are in the group alteration. Here we can change the thing. Suppose I'm deleting this alias and then saving this by Control A. Or if you want to delete this, the same shortcut key will work here, Alt D for delete. Anything we can delete by going to their alter option. So if I press Alt D and enter, you can see I'm typing outstanding, but there is no group coming by the name outstanding. That's it. Basically, this is how we have to work with the groups. we have to create the groups, what are the groups, and how we can alter or delete those groups. So is the group creation alteration part clear for all of you guys? Basically this one, creation of groups and subgroups. If you have any confusion, you can ask about it. All right, let's see how we have to create the groups again. Basically, groups are those in which we assign our ledgers of journal entries. Okay. For example, salary. Salary, we know it's an expense. So expense is the group for Tally software. In the expense, two groups comes, indirect expense and direct expense. So basically for salary for the company, it is an indirect expense. Like if I talk about bank is a current asset. So we know that it's a current asset, but in this Tally software, if we assign that, we need a group of current assets. So that current asset is a group for Tally. How we have to create the groups if we have need, or how we can view those groups if they are already created. If you want to view the groups which are already created, you have to click on the alter option and here click on the group option. Then you will see all the groups are available here, which is by default created in this software. If you click on any of the group, it will show you the proper things like the name is bank account. This group is created under the current asset. So if any group is basically created under a main group, it will be a subgroup. Like if I show you the current asset group, it is the primary group. Okay. So basically groups are those which are primary and subgroups are those which are created under the primary groups. Like current asset is a primary group, but if you see the bank account is created under the current asset. So bank account is a subgroup. Like as I said, if we have need to create any group, we have to click on the create option here. Then click on the group, type the group name. Let's suppose outstanding expenses. Alias is a short name or a nickname. If we want, we can assign. It is not a mandatory, optional. In the under, we have to select the appropriate undergroup for this outstanding expenses. So as we all know, outstanding expenses are the liabilities. So it will go for the current liability. And that's it. Press Ctrl A to save this one. We have created this group. After this, if you want to alter some information in that, or if you want to delete that group, what you have to do, simply go for the alter option. Select the group, search for that particular group which you want to change. And here you can change the information. For the delete, just press Alt D, the same shortcut key which we have used for the company delete. So now these are clear for all guys. If you still have any confusion, you can ask. Also guys, if you are on your PC or laptop, kindly try to create a new group as same as I had did. Also kindly take a look over the groups which are already created in the alter option. Please do that very quickly so that we can discuss the next topic. If you face any issue, you can ask. All right. Now let's move on to the next. The next part is the lasers. We have know in which groups we have to assign these lasers. So now let's see how we have to create the lasers. For the laser creation, we have to click on the create option, then click on the laser. And here we have to fill the laser information like laser name and the undergroup. But as like the groups, there are some lasers as well which are predefined in Tele software. If you want to see, simply click on the alter option, select the laser. Here you can see two lasers are already created by default. One is cash and the second is profit and loss. If you click on the cash, you will see the cash laser is created under the cash in hand group. Okay, so let's now try to create a new laser. Go for the create option, then select the laser, type the laser name. Just for example, I'm creating the rent laser here, typing the rent, or we can say rent expense. In the alias, if you want, you can type. If you don't want, you can skip. Alias is not a mandatory thing. Press enter. In the under, we have to select the group from this list of group. So rent is an expense we do. If you type here expense, all the expenses are come here. Rent is an indirect expense for the company. So we have to select indirect expense here. And that's it. Type of laser not applicable here. So this is how guys the laser will be created. Just type the name, select the undergroup. Undergroup is most important thing. We have to know which laser go for which undergroup. Okay. After doing that, we can press Ctrl A to save this. In case if we have any opening balance of the a ledger, opening balance when comes from the last year's closing balance, the opening balance comes. So we can put that opening balance here at this location. As we are starting fresh, so we don't have need to put the opening balance here. We can directly save this by Control A. Let's create another ledger like salary. Salary we know is also an expense, indirect. Select indirect expense here and save this by Control A. Let's say commission. Commission receive ledger we want to create. So just type the ledger name. In the undergroup commission receive. Commission receive for us is basically income, and it's come under the indirect income. So simply select indirect income here from the list of groups and save this. Then let's say bank. Let's say we are creating HDFC bank just for example. Okay, it will be our current asset, but in Tally software for the bank accounts, a specific ledger is already created, which is by the name bank accounts. So simply select bank account if you are creating any kind of bank ledger. After selecting that, we can put the account holder name, account number, IFS code, SWIFT code, bank name, branch name, and etc. Here we can also put the bank in address details. If we have any of the opening balance, we can put that here. If we don't have, we can skip that. So let's press Ctrl A to save it. Like let's try to create cash ledger. If I type cash here, it will show me an error here. Name already exists, enter a different name. Means the cache ledger is already created with the same name. So basically with the same name, we cannot create multiple ledgers. Okay. Like let's say telephone charges. Telephone charges will be the expense, indirect expense. Save that, Control A. Then wages. Wages are the direct expenses. So select direct expense here. Let's create this Mohan ledger. Mohan. We are paying amount to Mohan. So Mohan becomes our creditor. If we pay anything to a person or a company, it becomes the creditor for us. So Mohan will go under the sundry creditors. For temporary purpose, we have to deactivate this one option for the debtors and creditors. Remember, okay. Maintain balance bill by bill should be no here for temporary basis for the debtors and creditors, whichever you create. In the mailing details, you can assign the name, address, state, country, PIN code, bank details, PAN number, and opening balance if we have. If we don't have, just press Ctrl A to save that. So I have created the ledgers for these transaction entries. Okay. You can also try to create these ledgers by your own, guys. Please do. When you're done, then you can let me know so that we can discuss further. If you face any kind of issue, you can ask. We don't have need to create the cache ledger because cache ledger is already created by default in Tally software, and we cannot create two ledgers with same name. That's why we have not created the cache ledger. All right, guys. So now let's try to create some other ledgers. Like here for this transaction, deposit cash into bank. Bank ledger we have created, cash ledger we don't have need to create. So no ledger will be created. The same thing for this one as well. Commence business with rupees this. So in this we have to create the capital ledger. So let's create the capital. Capital will go under the capital account. Simply save that by Control A. The next is purchase. When you create the purchase, it will go under the purchase account group. For the purchase and sale, they are differently created separately. Save that. Also in the next, it is sale. So when we will create the sale, it will go for the sales account. Simple. Then we have machinery. When you create the machinery, it will go for the fixed asset because machinery are the fixed asset for us. Save it. After creating the ledgers, if you want to change some information or if you want to delete that particular ledger, you just have to go into the alter option and here simply click on the ledger option and select the particular ledger which you want to alter or delete. Suppose I want to alter the Mohan ledger. So I can say Mohan Limited or whatever I want, I can type here. Or if you want to delete that, simply press Alt D here to delete that particular ledger. So basically this is how guys the ledger creation, alteration and deletion work in Tally software. Is this clear for all of you guys? This part basically creation, alteration and deletion of ledger. If you have any confusion, you can ask. All right. Now let's see if we have an opening balance from the last financial year closing, how we have to do that. If you go down in the dates here, you will find some ledgers are available here with their opening balance as well. And also it is mentioned here like which type of ledger will go under which type of group. For just for your practice purpose so that you can know in the starting that we have to assign which kind of ledger under which type of group. So let's create these ledgers as well so that you can know and make up to the point. The first ledger is here equity share capital. Let's create that. Go for the create option, ledgers, equity share capital. It will go under the capital account. As we have an opening balance for this, so in the opening balance option, we will fill this amount. You can just copy and paste that here. And it is credit because capital ledger or the capital group basically nature is the credit balance, for that's why. Tally will do this thing automatically. We don't have to do anything extra. Press Ctrl A to save it. Next is general reserves. It will go under the reserves and surplus group. Opening balance is available here. Simply use that and save it. Then we have capital reserves. It will go under the same reserve and surplus. You can see reserve and surplus also a part of capital. Okay. Put the balance here and save that as well. Then we have loan from Hdfc. All right. It will go under the loans and liabilities, or you can say secured loans. Whatever loan you are taking from the bank, it will be a secured loan. If you are taking a loan from a person or financial institute, it will be an unsecured loan. Or if you have any confusion between the secured and unsecured, you can say only loans liability. That will be correct. Here simply put the opening balance which is given here. This opening balance comes from the last closing financial year. Okay. Save that now. Then Ranveer Limited. Ranveer Limited is a sundry creditors. So select sundry creditors here. Maintain balance bill by bill should be no for temporary purpose. We will use this option later in the further sessions. We can put the address details here. The opening balance will come up. Just use this opening balance, save that. The same we have another creditor by name Goswami Private Limited. He will also a creditor. Put the opening balance here and save that as well. The next is provision for doubtful debts. That will be under go for provisions. Provisions are the liabilities for us. 15,000 is the value. Save that. Outstanding rent. For this, we can do for current liabilities, but as we have created the outstanding expenses group, so we can assign that under it. The balance 16,500. Save that. Next, outstanding telephone bill. Same outstanding expenses. Balance is 35,000. Next, outstanding AMC, annual maintenance charges. The opening balance is 17,514. Save that. Profit and loss. As you can see, profit and loss basically with like the cash, profit and loss also predefined. So if you want to put the opening balance in the profit and loss ledger, you don't have need to create that again. Simply go for the alter. In the ledger, select profit and loss and simply put the opening balance which is given here and save that by controlling. Let's create other ledgers. Land and building. Land and building will be our fixed asset. The figure says this one. Then plant and machinery. It will also be a fixed asset. The balance will come up here like this and save that. Furniture and fixture. The amount will this one. Computers. Go for the fixed asset same. Opening balance is given and save it. Then investment in shares will be the part of investment group. Amount is here. Abir Private Limited is our debtor. So go for sundry debtors. Maintain balance bill by bill should be no. Address details we can fill here. After that, the balance will come up and save it. Then Suraj Limited. Closing stock, part of stock in hand. Prepaid insurance, current assets, loan to employee, loans and advance. Then cash, cash we will alter. Let's create first ICI Bank. Will be the bank account. These details we can fill if we have. Opening balance is given here. Use that. Now alter the cash ledger. Go for the alter ledgers, search for cash and put the opening balance as it is given here. And that's it. We have successfully created, guys, the ledgers with the last year closing opening balance. Okay. Now guys, if you take a look over the balance sheet, you will see the balance sheet is prepared automatically. You can see this in the details option. Okay, in the detail, if you want to see, you have to like click on this option, just press Alt F5, Alt F5 for detail. Here you can see in the capital account, the total balance is this, in which reserve and surplus, equity share capital. In loans liability, we have secured loans. If you press enter in this, you will see some other under created ledgers. If you press enter again, it will show you the monthly detail. The same thing you can check for reserve surplus. We have two types of reserve surplus. First is capital, second is general, which we can see here. Provision for doubtful debts, creditors. We have two creditors here, Goswami Private Limited, Rabir Private Limited. Outstanding expenses, we have these outstanding expenses. If you press enter any of the one, it will show the monthly details. The fixed assets, we have these investment, current assets like closing stock, loans advance, sundry debtors, cash in hand. You see here, we have done only the ledger creation with the closing opening balance. Okay, and our balance sheet is prepared automatically. So this is basically the benefit using the accounting softwares. We just have to pass the ledger transactions, journal entries, and the reports will be created and generated automatically. Since we have not put any opening balance in the profit and loss ledgers, like any of the profit or loss, expense or income, so that's why profit and loss is coming blank. If you want to take a look over the trial balance, just go for the display and have click on this trial balance option. It will show you all the debit and credit sides of all the ledgers. Here you can see we have these in the in the credit, and these in the debit side. Just same Alt F5 for the detail format. So guys, this is how the ledgers will be created without the opening balance or with the opening balance if they provide. So is this clear for all of you guys? Do you have any confusion in this? All right. Then guys, you all have to practice for the same day 3 PDF, entire PDF you have to practice for. Subgroups are those which are created under the primary groups. For example, if you go for the editor and see for the groups here, bank account is created under the current asset. So bank account is a subgroup here. If you could take a look on the current asset, it is a primary group because it's created under the primary. So in simple words, subgroups are those which are created under the primary groups. Okay. So guys, you all have to practice for this day 3 PDF. You have to create this company, you have to create this group, you have to create these ledgers. If you want to do extra practice for the ledger creation, you can create all the ledgers for these transaction entries which we have passed. Well, you can create these in a different company. You can also create for those like extra questions entries. For these also you can create the ledgers of the transactions. For these you can create whatever journal entry if you have passed, you can create lasers for those. Guys, basically we have Shiv, you are so guys, basically we have discussed here these topics. Let me show you. Creation of groups and subgroups, creation, alteration, deletion of lasers. We have learned how we have to create the groups and lasers. Also, we have taken a look over the balance sheet and trial balance after creating the lasers. If we put opening balance in those, how the reports will looks like. All of this we have learned here. If you guys have any doubt, any confusion still left for these specific topics, you can ask about that. Just have a look on it. Try to create one or two lasers by your own with the opening balance and let see the balance sheet. If you face any issue, you can ask at the same time. Please try to do this. Here are the remaining items. You all guys have these PDFs and notes, right? Because Ashwin sir has sent it to all of you through the mail. All right, great. Outstanding rent we can assign in the outstanding expenses. If you have not created the outstanding expenses group, you can assign outstanding expenses in the current liability. Basically, if you assign the ledger under their proper correct group, then it tally will automatically pick up the credit and debit balance. I have told you for the debtors and creditors, we have to deactivate the option maintain balance bill by bill. If you deactivate that option, bill wise breakup will not come. Currently, we don't have a need for this. We will do this option later. All right, all right, guys. Then see you in the next session. Don't forget to do the practice for these leather creation part. Bye bye. Thank you. Take care.